What's with all the older women saying don't get married? Are they being for real? Does marriage actually ruin your life? Is it just the person? Is it just marriage in general? I need to know.
So this young lady came on here and she wanted to know, why are older women telling younger women not to get married, and are they serious? And as a 42-year-old woman, I would say that I'm an older woman now, and I would say that they are absolutely serious, and they will give you their own reasons. But I feel like that if younger women listen to these older women, they can skip a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of poverty, a lot of illnesses, a lot of children that they really didn't want but were forced to have just because their husband wanted a baby like a puppy. Women, if they listen to the wisdom of these older women in 2026, they're going to save themselves a world of they're going to save themselves from a world of heartache and pain. But let's get into the answers that these ladies had, and I will talk to you ladies later. Bye.
Older women saying don't get married. Are they being for real? Does marriage actually ruin your life?
As a happily married woman of 17 years, I'm going to say don't do it. Because I have literally, over the course of my relationship, watched the pendulum swing so heavily, and I'm going to tell you exactly what that looks like. My husband is 1 in a million. And because I am in proximity to good men, I hate men. I'm in proximity to the good ones. All the rest of them, absolute dog water. When women gained independence financially and men realized that they had to no longer rely on their career or their money, what they brought to the table financially, they had to rely on other things such as personality, care, partnership, they failed. They continue to fail. And rather than acknowledging that they are mediocre at best and that they have a lot of work to do on themselves, they blame women. These low effort men are blaming us. Well, I'm your provider and your protector. What do you bring to the table? Bitch, I provide. I protect. Also, protect from whom? Check your boys. You're protecting us from yourselves. Please, doubt. I never see y'all stand up for us when we're not around, right? But these men are unwilling to put in effort. And so they blame women, and it's women's shortcomings or women wanting too much. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Bitch, your table is a busted ass TV tray. You're a gold digger, you're a gold digger. Stop fearing that I'm gonna take your money that doesn't exist, please. Like, low effort men is what we're dealing with now. And it is finding one that's not, as far as what I can see, needle in a haystack. Needle in a haystack. Men are now expecting more from us while contributing less. Meanwhile, we are seeking a shared responsibility, a partnership where we are both equally contributing. You know what a dude who contributes equally to a relationship gets from his fellow men? Gay, simp, like, and they care. That's the craziest thing too. They care more about what their buddies are saying than how their partner feels. What the fuck is that? You will never catch a woman looking at another woman, taking care, being part of a healthy partnership, being like, loser, fucking simp. What? No, we're gonna be like, goals. The fuck? Also, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. If a woman doesn't like the way that I'm interacting with my dude, who cares? That's not about them. It's about us, our partnership, right? Men can't get there. They're not grasping that concept that it's not about what your buddies think, right? Anyway, so at this point, with those things in mind, marriage is simply a humiliation ritual. It's highly unlikely that you're going to find someone who treats you the way that you should be treated. Which is, if your man does not treat you as well as your best friend treats you, and then some, not the one. If your man does not show up, look out for you, cater to you, take care of you in the same way that you do, and then some, if we're not matching energy, at the very least, not worth it at all. What the fuck? Don't waste your time. You don't need it. It's just going to be an expensive divorce in the future. Like, the amount of women who just get married for the marriage and they don't actually consider what that is, but they can say they're married. Wild when I was growing up. But I'm in Utah, so shit's different. Getting married at 18, 19, 20, all excited for the wedding. Don't even know the person they're marrying. Wait till you're fucking 30, dude. Wait until you know who you are. Wait until you've been through the ringer of shitty dates. Don't settle. And then maybe get married. But Lord, mutual respect, equality, understanding, non-toxic, honesty, communication, both y'all showing up for the chores, both y'all showing up for the labor of the household. Simp. I mean, come on. Fucking dudes, man. Also, dudes, step it up. What are you fucking doing? There's nothing attractive about being a low effort dude. I'm sure your dude buddies are impressed, though. Bye.
Okay, so yes, I most definitely wanted to address this. I was scrolling on Threads because y'all just really be speaking your minds on that damn app. Oh, Jesus Christ. But anyway, this came up and she says most happily married women say they would never remarry. That should tell you everything you need to know about marriage. I just think that's such an interesting perspective, and to take that in such a negative way is so interesting because we're going to do some discussing, okay? Okay, so as a married woman, I wholeheartedly feel the same way. Like, I really need my husband to last my entire lifetime. This is what I need to happen because I don't want to remarry because I feel like I have found my person. I feel like I cannot see myself having this bond, this chemistry, this investment in anybody else. Especially how y'all thinking, right now between men and women. Oh, hell no. Okay. So I know what I got, and I know I got something good. So yeah, I cannot see myself remarrying because I think I have found my person. Okay. So me and my husband are getting ready to celebrate 10 years of marriage, but we've been in each other's lives, for about 17, 18 years. We just been married for 10. Okay. So my point is, a lot of times when, well, I can't say a lot of times because I can't speak for everybody, but under this post, though, it was so many wives that came and said the same thing that I'm saying. It's not that we hate marriage or we feel miserable. No, we love being married. We love our husbands. We love our spouses to the point where we can't see ourselves being with anybody else. And we don't even think right now, especially the way that y'all think, the single folk, I can't see anybody else that would be marriage minded enough to be able to handle what comes with being married. So it's not a negative thing. When we say we can't see ourselves remarrying, it's simply because we found our person. That is literally our best friend. Like, we can't see ourselves being with nobody else, nor do we want to be with anybody else typically. And I'm not changing my name. I know, women bring that up. Well, why would you keep the last name? Well, if we're on good terms and we're doing the death do us part situation, I don't want to have to change my name again. My name is always going to match my kids' names, period. So, when you get married, you look at it from a long haul, but it's not from a negative perspective why we would never remarry. It's because we don't think we would be able to find someone like we have now. We know we got something good and we are enjoying it, while it lasts. And one more thing, for her to say that, if you look at statistics, those people that get married and they get, divorced, they have a tendency to remarry within the next 5 years. Men are typically a little higher in doing that than women, but women are definitely up there as well. You kind of like being married to a certain degree, but nonetheless, you're more prone to remarry if you've been married before.
I'm a happily married woman, and I tell women all the time not to get married. You know why? Because I was 24 when I got married. I was a baby. My frontal lobe was not fully developed. I didn't know anything. I got fucking lucky. Okay? I got lucky, and I've been transparent about that from the get-go. Because statistically speaking, we know how women end up in most cis-het relationships, okay? It ain't good for them. It's not good for them. I got lucky, okay? I got lucky. At 24, you think I knew what I was looking for in a good husband and a good life partner? And who would eventually be a good father to my children? No, I sure didn't. But I can look back 14 years ago as a woman, as a married mother who has a great marriage, who has an equitable partner. I can now tell women, hey, listen to the married woman. Listen to the happily married woman. If I'm happily married and I'm telling you, don't do it, it's not worth it, what do you think an unhappily married woman is going to tell you? It's not. For most women, it's not worth it. Because for most women, you will end up doing the majority of the domestic labor and the child care. You'll probably still end up working. And then you'll outgrow your husband. That is the unfortunate truth of it. You want to sit here and tell women that they can't share this information to other women because they're married? Shut the fuck up. Shut up, dude. Okay? You want to listen to a single person? This is the same thing. Like, if I was single and telling women this, you would tell me I was bitter and single and lonely. I'm not. I've been happily married for 12 years, and I wouldn't recommend it. Because that's coming from a very, very privileged place. Because most women don't have what I have, okay? So listen to the married women, the happily married women that are telling you, don't do it, babe. It ain't worth it. Because your chances are you're not going to get lucky like me. That's just, it is what it is. But don't sit here and say, we can't teach about patriarchal things if we're married. Don't.
I just want to say, I think this is because most women who say they are happily married are still putting on a facade for people, and they don't want to make their husbands look bad. And most happily married women, or quote unquote happily married women, are actually just lying. They don't want to say anything bad about their husbands just in case their husbands see their videos, so it won't be too bad. And they're just trying to protect their husband's feelings while at the same time trying to warn women not to do it. They're actually telling you, if you read between the lines, I'm not really that happy. I'm just saying that, but this man has put me through hell. He's emotionally unavailable. They just don't want to go into it, but they're just saying, I wouldn't do it again. And if they were so happily married, they would be saying, I'm happily married and I wouldn't do it again because I'm so happily married. I don't think nothing will ever happen with me and my husband. We're just never going to get divorced. I love him, but they're just saying I'm happily married, and they're not going into why they wouldn't do it again. They're just being very vague because they're protecting their man's feelings and egos while also trying to be, save the younger generation of women. That's my thoughts. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about it down in the comments.
You like being married?
Not really.
Maybe you like being married, but just not to the person you was married to.
There you go.
There, okay. All right. That's all right. That's understandable. That's another
You
story
need somebody
time.
who enjoy doing the same thing you do.
Okay, like what?
Like y'all like to do the same thing, y'all like the same church, y'all compatible for each other. Because if you be unequally yoked, you liking one thing and he liking another thing, and it don't work out good.
Okay. So you think a couple, they should at least have some of the same hobbies?
Yes, they should like to do some of the same things. Like he might like the movies and you like the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Or he might like the movies and you like the wrestling.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you just have to be compatible with each other. Or if you both love each other and you marry, if you're not compatible, you got to either want to do some of the things your wife do, and you got to want to do some of the things your husband do in order to make it iron out right.
Yeah. That's
That's
great
what I
advice.
Other than that, if you don't both agree on things, and another thing you need to do is be honest with each other.
Yeah.
That's the key to a marriage.
If you don't know, I'm going to let you know right now that most men and most women are not compatible with each other. Most men do not want to do the same things that women want to do, but women will force themselves to enjoy the things that their man wants to do just because they want a man. But men don't even try to force themselves to like what women want. So this is not going to work. Opposites really don't attract. If you think about it, they don't. Opposites really repel each other. And it's the same thing with people. That is why we see so many relationships failing and not working. And that is why we see so many women filing for divorce, because they thought that they could make the man do what they wanted them to do, and it didn't work. And here we are making these types of videos.
With all the older women saying don't get married, are they being for real? Does marriage actually ruin your life?
So I can count as older women, right? I'm 42. But back when I was growing up, I graduated high school in 2002. And I'm talking to every friend I had, they were looking for husbands, just period. Looking for husbands, boyfriends, you know. We just thought that that was the next step to like adulting. Well, I ended up not being that girl because I, was with someone. We didn't get married. At first, I was like, oh, dang, wasted all this time. No, boo. Now I'm over here. I've got my 4 children. They're doing great. I was able to graduate college. It was harder with a spouse, not because he was there, but because it takes a lot of support that a lot of men just ain't given, because while you're in school or you're trying to better yourself, they have to take ownership of the household. And that can go either way. And so you have it where women that are older are like, I've been cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, going to work, okay, and pleasing this man. At this point, it's like, girl, stay by yourself. You imagine that you just do better. I'm not saying don't have a boyfriend, but the contractual agreements of being married to somebody and that longevity of what it takes to be like really down for someone. Like my parents were married, I think 40 years until my mom passed away, something like that. And so I saw growth within a relationship. But every woman that I talk to who's like 40, 50, 60, they're just sad. I mean, you do have some one-offs where people are just happy. Like they got married after their 40s or they, after their 30s, or they actually knew themselves first before they went and found a man. And so the reason why they're telling you that is just because of experience, period. Is we had to like grow, and it was harder to grow and do the things that needed to be done to better yourself. It's just not the same with the support. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all, okay? But that's why they're telling you that, their own regrets. And so sometimes you might want to ask why they're saying that. Doesn't mean you won't find a good man, but you might want to ask them why they feel in particular that they wouldn't get married, because at this point, it's just not in my wheelhouse. I used to be kind of down about it, and now I do not mind. If I do find one, I feel like I want to marry. That's different, but right now, it's all about me, working on me, raising my children, and making sure that they're good. Because sadly, the men weren't raised to actually support you mentally, emotionally, and all those things. They were just heard to provide. And sadly, some of them can't even do that. Most of the women I know are the breadwinner in the family. And so back in the day, there was no option for that. But now, you just don't have. And don't let anybody force you into acting like your biological clock is ticking, because right now having babies is about the worst decision ever. Yeah, my youngest one is 11 and my oldest one is 20. And I mean, I love the era that I had them because all the support was in the world, all the medical assistance was there in the world. Now they're, old enough they take care of themselves. We haven't had any real issues, I'm knock on wood, but definitely, girl. You don't just have to ask them. You'll see if you're, a young girl married or think you have the right one and he's just not.
What's with all the older women saying don't get married? Are they being for real?
No, we're making it all up. It's a big joke. Yes, girl, what do you mean we're being for real? Don't get married.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm not getting married unless it's fucking financially beneficial. Like, I'm not getting married. I'm not getting married. Like, I don't know about that shit. I used to want to be married so bad. That's all I ever dreamed of. Now it's just like, them married men be the main ones in your inbox, the main ones trying to talk to you, take you out, date you. And of course, it seems like they treat you the best because they're gonna give you whatever you want, so you don't go tell their wife. Like, no, we not dealing with that shit. I don't want to y'all. I don't want to be no slave. I don't want to be no slave. No, I don't want to cook your food every day. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to have sex with you every day. I don't want to. If it's not monetarily beneficial, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing that shit. The difference is I'm okay with having sex out of marriage and having my way and having fun and dating. I'm okay with that, baby.
But you're still doing it. In fact, women seem to be more so pushing for marriage than men are in today's society. So maybe you did talk to them. Maybe they did say that, but nobody's listening.
I noticed with my grandmother Nana and my grandma Irene, both of them were determined they would never get married again, which was very interesting. Nana was the one that wanted the man to be out front, and she was more like more of the feminine energy and really allowed the man to take the lead and the man to be the man. And whereas my grandmother Irene, she managed everything and managed the money, and she more like, to me, was a more parental, mother-like figure in her marriage. Now, that's just my opinion. But what I noticed about both women was when those relationships were over, they were done. They said in their 40s they would never get married again. So seeing the energy of people now, women now choosing not to get married in this day and age, where we got all of these rights and privileges, is very interesting, because my grandmothers had that way of thinking when some of those rights and privileges that we have now and we may take for granted, they didn't have those. But they were determined to navigate in that type of society alone and never have a husband again. They saw what most of us are waking up to now. They saw, I think two things are true at the same time. I believe that they saw the burden of marriage that mostly the women carried. My Nana, when she said, "Don't let the daylight catch you," it was almost like, she didn't want that level of disrespect, but it was like common understanding and knowledge that your husband was going to cheat back then. It was like a given. But it was certain rules that the other women had and certain rules that the wife had. And whereas my grandmother Irene, she became a widow very young. And she was the one that, in her 40s, and she was the one that was more motherly and the one that says, you want a man that don't play about you. And even with that, it's still the weight of her being more motherly, the weight of the marriage, having that type of responsibility. She didn't want to get married again. I remember when a deacon from the church was trying to talk to her. I don't care who it was. My grandmother was not getting married again, neither one of them. And they were adamant about it. And I find it I think they were always forward-thinking women. Even though they navigated in their relationship differently, I think they both looked at it and say, hey, I'm sure this is not what I want to do again. And the part that's interesting for me right now is, as a woman, we see so many women saying, I'm not going to do that again. And they're defining how their relationship is going. You got people that they're in full relationships and they don't live in the same house. They visit each other. You got people that are determined that I'm just not going to get married again. You got people that are women that are saying this out loud. And I think one of the issues that I'm struggling with is, do I want to be married because of my foundation of how I was raised in my religious foundation? Or do I want to get married again because of me? I think that when you're doing a lot of journey searching, you're trying to figure out, because we change as people. and listening and watching other people make these types of decisions, and then remembering how my nanas and my grandma made these decisions and they had less resources, and people are making these decisions with all these resources. And then some of us are still making the decision despite looking at the failure rate, despite looking at that our society still put a lot of marriage, the burden of marriage on the woman. Why do you really want to get married?
I'm going to share something with you guys that my grandma shared with me when I was like 10, 9. My grandma told me, you want to be happy? You want to preserve your youth? You want to stay pretty? You want to stay that girl? Stay away from men. My grandma used to tell me all the time, like, yo, men are crosses. And I'm like, yo, what is this lady talking about? Mind you, I thought she was telling me that because she want me to get pregnant. She want to raise no more babies. I already never even liked the men. I'm gay. You know, I thought she was just trying to trying to scare me away from niggas. But when she said that to me, I did not understand it. Men will aid you. Men will wear you down, like raising a man, take care of a man, fighting another woman for a man. Anything in regards to a man is gonna aid you. And I didn't understand it. I never understood it when she was saying it to me. Now I'm grown and I look at my grandma. Grandma is 84 years old. She been divorced 30 years, maybe even more. Never remarried. And my grandma is aging like fine wine. She look like she in her 50s. Like black don't crack. On some next level. She happy. She got money. Stress free. And I was like, shit, girl. You right.
Would you give your younger self?
To never marry. To never marry. I think that I could have done all the things that I have done without a man. When my 2 husbands and my father all died within 3 months. And I found myself Betty, because I was no longer Betty Charbonnet, no longer Betty Reed. I was no longer defined by someone else's name.
Okay, I think about this a lot as a single gal. And what I hear from women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, is that they're like, I love my husband, I loved my husband, but like wouldn't do it again, would not live with a man again. Do you guys agree? And my question is, if you could do something differently, what would it be? And is there anything you would do before having kids or before getting married? Tell me while I still have my freedom.
All the older women saying don't get married. Are they being for real? Does marriage actually ruin your life?
First of all, the word you're looking for is women. You meant to say, what's with all the older women? But you're saying woman instead of women. Woman is singular, meaning one woman, whereas women is plural, meaning many. I don't know, but there's something about this younger generation that is making all of you look illiterate and grammatically untrained, because these are second grade words. Women. And no, I don't think that a lot of older women are telling you not to get married. What they're saying is they're sharing their own personal experience with marriage. And you're seeing many of them tell you that if they were to do it all over again, even though they love their family, they wouldn't get married, especially the ones that did it really young. And I think that's the point that you have to take away from this, because like for me, I personally believe in marriage. I personally believe in domestic partnership. But what me and so many other women discourage is getting married early and young. I say live your life, work on yourself, discover who you are, and experience everything instead of getting married young. Believe me, you will be so much more fulfilled and make so many better choices for yourself when you do decide to get married. Because believe me, you do not want to be stuck in these young traditional marriages where you have no options and you're catering to a man-child that can't do basic adult tasks along with a bunch of kids. None of that sounds appealing. So if you want to get married, I encourage marriage, but make sure that you are independent so that if you and him were ever to divorce, you would be fine on your own. That must be what you have heard from all the older women that you're talking about.
So ladies, in the end, we all have our own choices and decisions to make in this lifetime. And like some great philosopher once said, a hard head will make a soft ass. So these ladies, unfortunately, will have to touch the stove in order to know that it's hot. They'll have to get burned before they'll listen. There are many of them who think that women are just jealous of their youth and their beauty, and we don't know what we're talking about. Like, centuries of women haven't gone through the same thing, and there will be women who don't have to experience the hurt and the pain. They'll just see it all around them and be smarter and just choose not to go in that direction. But whatever direction you decide to go in, Godspeed, good luck, and I just hope you survive it. And like I always say, arm yourselves this year, ladies, not lady, but arm yourselves and take care of each other. Take care of the women and the girls in your family. Well, the ones that want to be taken care of, the ones that are like-minded and not hard-headed. Just love on the women who are trying to find their way and need your guidance. And thank you, ladies, for listening. Let's start this year right by liking, commenting, sharing these videos to help these channels grow. And I will talk to you ladies later. Bye.